So in this video, I'm just going to go over the upper Yough, or my trip down the upper Yough. Now, I'm not claiming to be any type of expert on this run. It gets ran by 1,000 people. But I'm just going to give you guys my kind of experience up there. I went up there a few weeks back when I was doing the Savage. And what I love about this is you can get the upper Yough and Savage in the same weekend. I did this on a Friday. So I figured I'd do kind of a quick overview of this run too. Now the level in this video is going to be 2.2 to 2.3 on that bridge gauge up there. It is a regular released river that maybe not a lot of people know about. And I don't know the names of all of the rapids on here, so I'm going to do the best I can. If you guys see something I might miss on here, this is more or less just kind of telling you my experience of this run. This rapid right here I do know is called Gap Falls. And we put in at Sang Run, put in or something. We're taking out at the regular Friendsville takeout. It's one of my favorite runs for a half slice. If you've got a half slice, especially a boat like this Storm or Ripper or Rewind or Antics or something, you will have a blast on the upper Yough. I highly recommend taking a half slice if you're pretty good at handling those. But normally a creek boat would be a normal run. This is a creek run. Don't think of it as a playboat run. If you're from me to get here it's a 16-hour round trip, 8 hours up, 8 hours back. So it's not something I do a lot, but I try to get this run a few times a year if I can because it's so fun. Every time I'm up there, I have a blast. I met up with my buddy Glenn here. He's just kind of, I don't really need to be shown down this because I do know it, and I've got other videos on this, but it's always nice just to have somebody you know and kind of line up where certain rapids are. I feel that this, if I had to rate this, my rating, I would say it's pushy class 4. Maybe some of the rapids I would say 5, but it'd be right on the 5-, easy 5. But you could definitely get hurt out here and get jammed up, and it is not easy to get out of this run. So if you've never done it, get a guide. I think you're going to probably want a guide out there. Don't just wing it unless you're a very solid, confident paddler that you can get by on this, especially if you're in a half slice. If you're in a creek boat, I think you'd be a little fine on that. And there's always people out here, so I doubt you're going to be out there soloing this thing. So you'll find a line somewhere. How about that? So as you can see, there's tons of splats. I'm being a little conservative today because I'm paddling all weekend. I didn't want to. You can blow your gas tank out there. I mean, you can flat out wear yourself out. I've taken, I had my Supernova up here, I think, years ago. You can just wear this river out with a full slice. They do have a rodeo on this, so they do have like a competition rodeo. I think it's in June or whatever. You know, if you want to do that, good luck to you. But mostly the locals are going to know this run very well. For somebody who just comes up and paddles it every now and then, it's going to be a little tough to figure that out. He's going on about some logs, so there have been some trees pop up here and there, but I think the raft companies and the boaters in that area are really good about like getting the river cleaned out if something happens. I mean, if there's like a log or a strainer or something. Yeah, so this is kind of like some warm-up stuff. Like I said, I don't know the names of a lot of rapids. I know that first one, and then the next one's going to be Bastard, which is I think it's named after a bastard of a hole. There's like this hole in there that can put like a little ledge hole that can put a hurting on some people. And I think that's why it's just called Bastard Hole. And it should be coming up. These are more warm-up rapids. So do the best you can, everybody, to kind of get a good feel for the river and a feel for what you're going to be seeing downstream right here. Just some nice flowy stuff. Watch how this storm bow just boom right over stuff. So I definitely knew the storm was beautiful out there for this run. It just kind of like pops up and over, but it still has that playful tail. Yeah, there's 360 rocks out here. There's some cartwheeling spots, tons of splats.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think this is like a little surf. Yeah, that was like a surf wave up there. Like I said, we're just kind of like floating and just kind of like more river running. I've got other videos where I did more play boating on this. If you guys want to check this out, this right here is just going to be more just kind of like staying in the flow. But that rapid back there has a pretty good surf wave, and there was a splat rock there on the left that I didn't do. I think there's a good splat coming up. Yeah, I really don't know the name of this one either. It might have a name. I'm a little offline. I'm over in kind of the shallower area there. Oh, I see a little tree to go under. It is always a little whoop, right under that tree. Yeah, a little 360 rock right there I missed. Another one, oh, look at that splat right there. You can just work these eddies so good. Little 360 right here. Go down. Oh, it grabbed my back edge, that hole right there. That's the thing. The storm stays above the water unless you get aggressive with that tail. Then it'll lock in for you. I think there's a good splat coming up. Right here. Oh, look at that splat right there. Watch this. Just come up, lower down, lock in, and then just go very smooth with it. Don't get overly aggressive. That was a good splat. I like that. Then right into a 360. Kind of like, I think we worked our way right over here.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
And it's funny because these rapids are popping in my head as I'm getting in them. But if you ask me, you're like, hey, can I follow you down this? I'll be like, I don't have a clue where I'm going. I'll know when I get there. How about that? And sometimes that's the best way to be, you know. you don't know what you're going into until you see it. Kind of like life, I guess. More going down. I don't remember anything down through here. There were some stern squirt spots right there. I wasn't being overly aggressive right here. I think there's a little surf wave down here on the right. Look at that splat. Yep. Yeah, a little surf wave on the left down here. See it right there coming up. More just kind of like floating and taking it in. Yeah, he was calling them like warm-up 1, warm-up 2. This is like second warm-up or something, which kind of makes sense. Yeah, look at that splat. It's fun. When you see me do that hand movement, I'm not waving at the rocks. I'm sitting there thinking I should have splat them. Another one right there. You see what I mean? I would be so... You could just wear yourself out right here in the first 3 miles. By the way, I don't think I got into that. So the actual length of the river is a little over 9 miles of whitewater. It's not flat by no means. Look at that tree right there. That was out of nowhere. It's probably... It stays moving the whole time. Now, the end of it does get kind of manky shoals and shallow, but it's not flat water. So don't come out here thinking you're going to be doing a lot of flat water, because you're not. So 9.5, like a little over 9 miles of full-on class 4 whitewater is pretty good when you think about it. That's awesome. It is not roadside. If you got jammed up in there and you had to hike out, it would be pretty tough to hike out of there. That's why it's a little higher rating than some. The rapids might not be that stout, but you got to keep that in mind when you're doing runs like this. You break a paddle, break a boat, or get hurt, it's not easy getting out of there. I went through that little slot, and that rock surprised me. I didn't even know where I was going right there. I just kind of went in that slot, and I was like, oh, yeah, I should have 360 that rock. The rocks up there are not, like, super friendly on your kayak either. Unless they're covered with water and kind of slick. You know, they're not overly, like, slick rocks to go over. I've seen a bunch of boats piled up.
Okay.
Maybe this is the entrance to Bastard. I think that's what he said. Yeah, now this one, I just pretty much winged it. I went down to the left here. And like I said, everybody, I know this gets ran by so many high-level boaters, so the lines I'm taking might not be the correct line, and there's going to be 100 different lines you could take on this run. It's like a lot of runs, you know, the locals will find like runs that you could take. Nice little booth right there. Little flare booth right there. Maybe that's the hole right there. I could see someone getting jammed up in that. There's another one down here, so maybe just like little ledge holes. He's saying go right. Then I seen the dude up there in the ripper. He went left, and I was like, I didn't know. I was like, well, maybe I should. Yeah. I'll just stay right. I didn't know whether to go right or left right here.
Well, that was 2 different lines.
I was like, well, and it's not. I know there's not danger. It was more like right here now. See, I think that's the hole that they're talking about. It was more or less just finding the best, and I think that was the best line, staying on the right and getting a boof right over that hole. Now, the next rapid is Charlie's Choice, and I really don't know where that is, but they've got it rated a 5. I think there's like a sieve or pin, and that's why it's got a little higher rating on it. More just kind of like flowy stuff. When I'm doing these kind of like breakdown videos, I put a little more. Normally I cut a lot of this stuff out, but I'll just leave it in if I'm doing these little breakdown videos. See, and oh, another thing, this thing only drops 52 feet per mile. So look downstream. Notice there's not a lot of horizon lines that you can't see.
Yeah, I think I ran it over here.
Yeah.
That's the squiggly link.
Okay, when I was out here years ago, I came and I ran it far right to left. So maybe this is the Charlie's Choice Rapid. And there's another one called Triple Drop. So I don't know if I'm in either Triple Drop or Charlie's Choice. You guys could tell me on this one. But it's like last time I ran right to left. I could see this being a stout rapid for some right here. That line right there was pretty easy, if you ask me. I just went straight down and caught some boof strokes. But if you're not used to catching that like late pull boof.
That's a good line. I like that.
Mel's Toilet Bowl, I think is what this one is. You can see normally almost all of the rapids right in the main flow is about where you want to be at. It's funny. So a boater just went through that little slot right there, and I was like, am I supposed to go through that slot? And it was like, yeah, okay, it's good to go. That's a cool slot. I recommend that slot. If you're not, I'm used to Southeast. We're definitely used to going through slot moves like that. That can be very intimidating. Watch this little flare boof right here. I should have crossbowed that eddy, 360'd, and then right there. Yeah, that's a pushy little rapid. I could see that being a problem for some right there. Now I think we're coming up to the entrance.
Oh, this must be the lead into Nashville.
Now, right here, I'm starting to recognize this. Like I said, I know obviously the main rapids, National. Now at National, everybody stays to the right, but there is a bunch of different lines to run this. I think this is like the lead-in rapid. I think you 360 that rock right there too. See, Glenn went middle to right, and then I seen that dude over here. He eddied out, so I'm like, I'm gonna eddy out and just take a reset right here. That way, if something happens, one thing you got to be worried about is definitely don't drop on people's heads here. That's more dangerous than a freaking rapid. Somebody come in and lands on your neck. So what I do, I give a little gap. Now watch this guy. He hit more rock than I thought you should hit. I'm like, interesting. I always thought you should avoid that. So I played it safe and just let my bow rub down it right there. But I think you could send that rock. The problem is if you get too greedy with it, it bounces you back into the hole.
Yeah, he got more rock.
That's what I was saying. I was like, you got way more rock. Bunch of big splat down here.
More speed.
Yeah, get more aggressive with that splat. Just kind of like I'm doing like a spin into it. You can spin, then splat that. Nice little splat. Now this one I think was what they call Tommy's Hole. Now I was told there was a raft pinned down there, and if you look over there, normally
Yeah.
Last time I went all the way left, but you see there's guys standing on top of the rock down there, so I'm thinking there's a raft pin complete.
Why would they put a raft in there?
I don't know, but it's pinned.
I heard there was a raft pin down there, so I'm like, well, I'm not dropping into that with a pinned raft.
Everybody's going right.
Oh, okay. I mean, we could still run it, though.
It looked runnable from up there. I didn't see the raft,
Or you can go to the right.
but they said that there was a person pinned, so I was like, I'm not dropping into something if there's somebody in there. Then once I got down there, I see if it was pinned, they already got it out. Because this line right here is just kind of... If you run that left line, apparently it's a little stouter line. Yeah, then I was like, oh, they've got it out. So if it was pinned in there, they already had it all out. And everything was good. Everybody was good over there. You can see how you can get around that rock, but you can go left of that rock or right of that rock.
Where's it at?
It's around it's right around the left right there. They pulled it out.
Oh, I was like, we ran right here.
Good little booth right there. Oh, watch what happens. I spin and I didn't see this flake. Look at that flake, everybody. Watch. Boink. I mean, I got jammed up. I almost pinned. I almost vertically pinned my tail right there because I did that stupid 360.
What?
And I didn't even see that flake. So be careful with that flake rock. It was very grippy. It was not a slick rock. And that's why I kind of grabbed a hold of it. The hull grabbed it and I couldn't really disengage the hull. Nice little splat right there. Maybe that's what that trap run falls. And then we got Zinger coming up. There's a fun little section right here. Kind of go up under that little ledge right there on the left. Water droplet. Kind of get against that so you don't hit that rock. The rock right there. More squirtable eddies right here. I don't want to get too aggressive with it because you don't know if you're going to drop in upside down onto something. You definitely want to have good boat control and a bomber roll if you're out here on this run, everybody. Oh, this is such a great 360 hole. There's Art. If you guys don't know Art, you should. He's a local legend there. Yeah, I mean, I can seriously sit here and 360 this for days. Definitely with this storm, it's got a very like aggressive edge on it, so you can really throw down some 360s. But honestly, if you even a creek boat, I think I was out there in a reactor and I was able to get a lot. Man, I did so many 360s right here. I think I got tired of doing them. But you see what I mean about the characteristics of the run. It's like you play as much as you want to. And my advice to anybody, if it's your first time, save your energy. Don't kind of blow yourself out, then get tired and start getting sloppy out there because everything can go bad really fast out here on this run. Kind of reminds me of the Cheelah. If you're from the southeast, I can tell you what it reminds me of. It's kind of like the Cheelah's more like a little stouter, but more continuous, but it's roadside, so I give it a little easier. And then it's kind of like flowy, like the Ocoee water. So imagine the Ocoee and Cheelah combined. It's kind of weird. This thing's in a class of its own, in my opinion. It's class 4 boating, for sure. I think your worst case scenario is going to be a pan, either in the boat or out of the boat. That's what I was talking about, the edge of that storm. You see how you can't transition off of rocks when you do those splats like that, or those rail, like flare booths. You can't transition off of the rock. See, I got the balance point right there. And it makes it tough to kind of like turn the boat flat. So you land at kind of an angle. More just kind of like flowy stuff right there. You got to be careful not to splat too much, because splats are not the most friendliest thing on your kayak, especially when they're sharper, when they're kind of grinding type rocks that are out here. I'll splat a lot here in the southeast because of the fact that our rocks are very smooth. These rocks are not the smoothest for splats. You can actually paddle down and you'll see plastic, different color plastics, red, blue, green. You'll see all kinds of colors on these rocks. Well, and that's also an indication of where you're supposed to splat at. See people eddying out, so I'm like, well, just pull your stroke. I just floated on down with this dude. Now, he caught a cool eddy that last minute. I had no idea this was coming up, but I was like, when I'm doing this, I'm watching. Now, see how he turned? I watched him turn right there. I was like, oh, look at this. Another cool little slot. Normal line would be down the left. This is kind of like a stout little slot. You could jam that up. I could definitely see someone screwing that up and getting pinned across that slot that didn't know what they were doing. I was like, well, that was neat. And then just riding off of this rock. I should have pulled my stroke a little more. I let my bow drop.
That was a good move. I like that.
I had no idea that was there.
Yeah,
The time warp.
Because you magically appear.
Another one. You see that clutch got caught up a little bit right there. So I went further right. Catch a lot of speed down through there. You could definitely catch a lot of speed. I think a boat like that clutch is a great choice for out there. I see that. And just kind of like... I can't remember what... Maybe this is meat cleaver. Yeah, I was going to flare boof this right side. Then I went up and looked. Do not flare boof that. It lands right on a rock. So I just fell off of it. Now there's I think that's called the meat cleaver right there in the middle. I just split this right there. Now there's this is a really cool stern squirt spot. Oh, dude, right there got jammed up. Everybody was downstream. You can see it's kind of flat below it. So if something does happen, it's easy to get gear on the right. But his boat floated to the left and his body swam to the right. So they had a boat on the left and him on the right. Little flare booth right here. Nice little rock flare. You can see it's hard to transition that storm. Right here, perfect use of a tow tether. This is what I'm talking about. A perfect use of the tow tether. Easy class. Nothing current. And now I'm just here for support if he needs it, if it started to wash away, because we didn't want his boat to wash downstream. So it's like I'm just kind of back there for support, and then he's going to pull it up. You can see the dude on the right bank over there. Has his paddle, everything contained. The Code, that's a great boat for out there too, that Code. Nice one. That's a nice kind of like tow tether pull right there. Crossbow 360. I do that crossbow because it helps pull my rotation faster on these shallower rocks. If you're on a rock and it's kind of shallow, see that crossbow? That's what happened there. Was I slowed, but then that body mechanics of me throwing the paddle around, even if I don't catch water, will help me get that around. I think this one is called... can't remember. No. Oh, this was that rapid. One time I was in a full slice, and if you guys look over there to the right, right there on the left, I point at it, and I got stuck in there, and I was doing cartwheels. I seriously almost swam. it is very kind of like squirrely under there. I was pinned up on the rock and I was going end over end. And I could not get my paddle above. I could not get my head above the water to get out of there. You can drive they call that powerful popper. You can drive your bow in there and get like really good enders. Maybe even a loop. I think I got a loop there one time in a creek boat. This is just a really good surf hole. I think there's a series of good surf holes. Once again, you're in a boat like this storm, you could just spin for days. Okay. I got tired of spinning. There's more surf waves over here on the left. Right there, I missed it. I'm a little low. But I think I think that would be more fun. I like the ones that are a little more challenging. This one right here, just another one that you want to be on your toes for. It doesn't look... Oh, look, yeah, you can catch right here. And I think he was calling this... I would have boofed right over the hole. Last time I went right over that hole. That's called lost and found hole, I think. Because people get the crap beat out of them there. Once again, just staying in the flow. There's a nice little kind of boof right here. A little water boof right there. Oh, 360. I think you can do attainments here. One time I was out here and I think I did an attainment all the way back up all of this. That's a Bobby Miller question right there. I think that's who was out there. And I seen Bobby doing it, so I just followed him and we did an attainment all the way back up. Oh, this spot right here is really good. You got to think I'm in a half-size half slice, and you can see I can get almost a 3 to 4 dinger cartwheel right here. Bow goes slow, and then the tail goes really fast. So you want to get right up on that rock, kind of go in like you're initiating a loop, and then what I'm doing is turning to the side. Now, if I had a full slice, I think I could wear this out. Right there. Stuck on the tail. You can get a little surf right there too. You will hit the bottom sometimes if you get too aggressive with it. You'll tag your tail on that rock too. So don't throw your tail super hard because you can crack your boat. I wouldn't recommend it. Nice little river running sequence right here. Like this. Just kind of like smooth, flowy stuff right here. Staying on those eddy lines and it's kind of like going down. See how you can see all the way down, so I'm not worried about. Right here, a little flare boof. I think we're coming up closer to the end. I'm not sure. I think we got a couple more rapids left. Look at that splat rock right there. I'm sizing that one up. I said, I don't think it's undercut. Then sometimes I see them and I don't get too aggressive until the last minute. Oh, see how the bow touched water and it slowed the rotation? That's because I didn't lean back. More flowy stuff right here. Pull that stroke. That's nice. Oh, there's a cool eddy that Don showed me right here on the left. Look in that little pocket right there. I didn't even realize it till I went by, but I hit that eddy one time I was out there, and you hit that eddy, then you ferry back and forth. Now, my camera died right after this. One of the best splats on the river. Everybody, that's my kind of like breakdown of the Upper Yough. Good time. Recommend it. If you get a chance, look up the release schedule. Go up there and get you some. See y'all in the next video.